So here I'm going to be moving very fast. I speak fairly fast too when I get excited too. So if there is something that you would like me to go back over or you want more information on, best idea is to highlight the topic and then grab me at the end or grab me sometime tomorrow, because I want to cover as much as is possible in the shortest amount of time that we have, and then feed back to you. Got my cards there, email me, get in touch and say I want to hear more about what you do in that area. So a couple of things that I'm starting with. Scootle is free, brilliant resource. People using it? Do you want to put your hands up if you're using that one? Or it's got some delights for some of you then. And then I'm going to move into, because predominantly my client base is vision impaired, blindness and dyslexia. So my starting point is always, how do we get audiobooks to these children? My dyslexic kids, I'll be looking at what type of reading medium is best for them. Some of them will suit the sorts of books that if you were in here before, you would have seen the iBooks that are fully interactive, and some kids that'll be the worst choice ever because you'll never calm them back down again. On the days I don't work for Vision Australia, I'm a special ed teacher, so I work with a lot of children who I get to try this stuff out on, and I get to field test some of these ideas and find out for my little group what works and what doesn't. Looking then more broadly at ebooks, there are some file type considerations, and you probably will encounter issues where you download a book and whatever it is you wanted to play it on, it just plain won't work. I'll try and give you a little bit of insight into why that happens and what are the safest formats to go for. If I get time, I would love to show you document cameras and OCR, which is optical character recognition. That's my go-to when one of my kids needs something and it doesn't exist in digital format online. Not the massive textbooks, there's other ways of getting those, but for those couple of worksheets that the classroom teacher has had one of those, teachable moments where they've just decided this would be a really good idea to do now, and I didn't have time to plan for my dyslexic student and my low vision student and my student with learning difficulties. Some options there that are free or very low cost. And of course the proviso at the bottom that all of the stuff that I'm talking about is not a blanket prescription for your students. At any given time, the stuff that I'm using may well apply to that bottom 5% in your class, but we can't take that for granted. You need the input of the other support services that you have available to advise and guide you on using any technology. So people like your school psychologists, your speech therapists, your senior teachers, your IT people, your learning support staff, everybody who can paint a picture of the child that's in your classroom will enable you to be better informed about the strategies and interventions that you use. So that's why I don't think I've put it very frequently through these slides, but that last line is actually really important, that just because I happen to work with this group of kids does not mean I'm saying all of them need an audio book. There may be all sorts of other things going on with that child that mean it is a completely inappropriate resource, even if they are blind. So why do we want to go down this? We've heard a lot about evidence-based practice. There is some out there for the use of digital content, but I kind of figure if your education department for your state has gone in that direction, the train's left the station. It's already happening. I'm based in New South Wales, so forgive me if what I talk about is not identical in your state. So for this particular example then, New South Wales Government, this is already up and running. Scootle is one of the mechanisms for making this happen. So there are currently 22,000 resources in Scootle. I'm just going to flick over to it and show you what it is, because it relates very much to that little quote that I've got there. And we'll wait. When this comes up, the only thing you need to use Scootle is a school email address. So you have to be attached to some sort of education